Hi, Brandon.
Hey, Martin.
You wanted to start, right? But I interrupted the video, so I'm the one to introduce Brandon Huff from the US, from cPrime, partner of Seibert Media. And you're here in Wiesbaden, took a long flight, jet lag, all that stuff. Why did you do that?
I came here because Martin and the team has been so welcoming, but also to work on Agile Hive and make sure we can build a flexible solution for both the US, German, and other markets.
Yeah. How about you tell us? So I'm wearing the shirt while you're wearing the old Stride shirt.
Vintage Stride.
Yeah, it's going to be a Slack shirt tomorrow.
That's right.
Probably magically change. Tell us a little bit about Agile Hive from your perspective and what it means to cPrime.
So Agile Hive for us is a unique solution that helps many of our customers who are trying to scale Agile and use SAFe have a consistent reporting experience and consistent user experience for how they would manage it. So it's been a great opportunity to bring together all the different add-ons and solutions and creative configuration into one product that we can make it easy for our customers to use.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of transparency. So let's give you some background on this as well. cPrime and Seibert Media are working very closely on Agile Hive together. So cPrime is our exclusive partner for everything English and US, and you already have like quite a few customers doing safe practices with Agile, Atlassian scaling, context that we hope to build on together. Yeah. So cPrime is also for Seibert Media a very good resource to learn what this product needs to be.
Yeah.
Agile Hive, from my perspective, is a good way to use Atlassian tools who are like agile from the ground up, right? Yeah. So you're a team of 20 people and you want to do Scrum, Kanban, and all the transparency working together stuff, then the Atlassian tools are awesome. Yeah. If you're a 25,000 employee company, it's not that easy, or at least those companies seem to struggle a lot. And then those scaling Agile frameworks help them. Who's relevant in the market? How did that develop? What's your take from your perspective?
So it's been an interesting conversation here internally with the teams and also comparing the different countries and approaches to how they scale. SAFe is obviously the biggest model that's out there, but we found some differences between the German market and the US market. The US market, they've had multiple iterations of SAFe, and as such, they don't want it out of the box. Every customer wants something slightly different. The way they plan, the way they report, very different.
And you're very ingrained in that, right?
Yes.
You're a gold SAFe certified
partner
with an art and
that's right. So we definitely do a lot in the SAFe space, both transformations as well as coaching, and with our tooling side of it, it kind of brings it all together. But the only consistent thing we found is that every one of our large clients is different. Yeah. There are, of course, some standards and some guidelines, but the way that they do their planning financially is different. The way that they roll this out to teams and do proof of concept, all very different. And we find that every client wants the different options inside of it, which meant for our teams, we had to be very flexible with how we configured it, how we designed it, and how we would roll it out to them. Yeah. If we compare that to some other conversations for the German market, they want it more out of the box. They want to start with that, and they'll eventually change it.
I think that's also a matter of maturity.
Correct.
Where you have a situation where in Germany, a lot of big companies say, oh, this Agile thing, we actually need to adopt this like on a larger scale. Yeah. So we see in single isolated teams that it's working out like tremendously good, but we need to put that like in a whole organization where I don't know, that's a question actually. Would you say that the American companies have done that more and longer already? Is that a more mature market in your opinion?
I would say Agile is no longer a differentiator in the US market. Everyone does it. How well they do it is the question. But we've seen 3 or 4 iterations of Agile being rolled out across the U.S. markets.
Yeah.
And when they first did it, they failed. Then they tried again. No one wanted to do it. Now we're on the 4th or 5th iteration of that. Everyone does it. It's the assumption you're going to do some version of Agile.
Yeah.
The question now is, how do you scale? There's multiple models. SAFe is obviously the biggest, but there was DAD and LESS and Nexus and
what
other
is
models.
DAD standing for? You told me yesterday.
Yep.
I was shy to ask.
Yeah.
Now that we're
Yes.
on the record, I think I'm good.
Disciplined Agile development.
Disciplined Agile development.
Correct.
They all have these easy to remember, like DAD, LESS,
So many acronyms.
SAFe, also like,
So many. Yeah.
and they, okay.
But if we boil it down, they're actually fairly similar. There are some differences for how they plan and how they approach it, but if we look at the overall framework, they're fairly similar.
Yeah. Like Dan Frost, a colleague of yours, and Zubin have been here.
Mm-hmm.
You, cPrime, at large, seem to be a very pragmatic company, like very down to earth and trying to do what the customer actually needs. Don't you care? Like if I come to you and say, give me this DAD scaling thing, then you say, okay, we're the biggest SAFe guys, but if this is your thing, we'll try.
We don't care, ultimately.
Yeah. Okay.
To your point, they have a problem. They've come to us to help solve it. Whether, I don't care what methodology it is, we have to figure out what do we need to do to configure it to meet their needs. Can we use some of the SAFe pieces? Probably. But they're going to have different terminology, different ways they want to roll it out, how their teams get trained. All that will be different than SAFe. And so for us, we have to be pragmatic. We pride ourselves on it, but we really have to be if we want to be successful.
Okay, why Atlassian Software? You're even wearing the shirt when the Stride brand has moved out already, so you seem to have some convincement.
This was a little bit ironic, so that was just fun. But it's the most flexible tool out there. Really, the fact that we're here creating a solution is because the market doesn't have one yet. Mm-hmm. And while other products out there have their own SAFe solutions, they're very much by the book and don't have as much flexibility in how they would even roll that out. And so what's attracted me to the Atlassian products is just how flexible it is. We can do almost anything. And it's really opens up my world to be able to solve pretty much any problem.
Yeah, so that's giving you a lot of flexibility to help the customer serve in a way that they want. Correct. And also, like, just to be plain and honest, it's a very good basis for a service provider to do services, right? Yep. Like if you can say, oh, actually I only have green and red, and like I can mingle in some red in the green, but that's about it. Then the customer says, oh, okay, I'm going to do that myself, and
exactly.
We'll chat on a beer later. But actually, and that's also something that. America, from this German perspective that I have, is a very cloud first. We don't want to deal with all this stuff at all anymore. Like advancing market. At the same time, if you're looking at all these cloud only providers, the flexibility of customizing what they have in terms of software is very, very limited.
Yep.
That's kind of even if you look at Google, where like we're a Google partner, and or if you're looking at Atlassian Cloud, or if you're looking at Salesforce, it's you have this amount of API points.
Sure.
If it's not enough, screw you.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry. So.
And that's what we found, like even with the SAFe solution, that's really just this much. How do they integrate with their other development tools and service management and product management? All those need an entry point into a system, and Jira can be the hub of that.
Yeah. And the cool thing is also you don't need to ask anyone, right? Like if you feel that the customer actually needs that pretty hefty, deep integration or deep change, you could even touch Jira Core, which we don't do, but like it's really the sky's the limit with the solution. Yeah. And I think you're seeing the same thing, right? Customers in Germany, and I assume that's true for cPrime as well. They kind of let us mimic the cloud for them. So it's kind of a hosted solution that works like the cloud for the customer. Still, we install it on our cloud providers. You use Amazon, right?
We do AWS, which opens up a lot of other options for redundancy as well as other integration with other tools inside of that and monitoring.
And we are only using like Google Cloud and a German provider. And what's also like, when you say flexible, I would assume there's no difference. Like, there's no limitation that you say, oh, if Atlassian or Jira or Safe for that matter would be different, I could host it better on Amazon. It just doesn't matter, right? It's just like,
that's not part of their thought process. It's more about security, scalability, redundancy. That's their biggest concern. They don't really care who hosts it.
And still, like if an American customer would come to you and say, oh, we're in the Google Cloud and all of our stuff is there, then you can still run it there, right? So that's also part of the infrastructure flexibility that Atlassian brings to the table.
Absolutely.
But still, why Atlassian? Like, why not Rally or Agile Craft or who else is in the market? Like, who do you see who's offering safe Agile scaling?
We've actually seen some very interesting changes in just the last 6 to 9 months.
Okay.
We're seeing a lot of other former competitors are now coming up with a solution that's on top of Jira.
Okay.
So we're seeing a lot of that, and I'm not sure where that's going just yet, but interesting to see them. They're not trying to fight Jira anymore. Okay. They have given up on that fight. Teams are going to use Jira. And now they're looking at, do we put something at that safe level above it? Do we just do something at the portfolio level? So we're seeing...
What type of integrations do they have? Like, there's this integration where you have the other service, which is still kind of isolated, and then you have the Jira, and then you have some integrations. And then, like, what we do basically is we develop the whole Safe solution within Jira. So there's no isolation. Safe cannot live without Atlassian and Jira. Like, if you don't have Jira at the bottom, no chance. It won't work.
Ultimately, they all are their own platforms.
Yeah, okay.
So
it's only integrations.
They basically say, teams go here, here's your login. If you want some sort of portfolio management or safe, you go to another place that pulls in Jira data, but there's no real, they don't live in the same place.
When we are approached a lot, and I assume you are as well, by vendors of that kind. And I have kind of started to turn them down directly because they say, oh, that's not what our customers want. Our customers want full integration. They don't want to have a second login, talk about single sign-on solutions and all that stuff. They want it in Jira so that they can, for example, in Germany, still host it in their own environment. Or what a lot of those very big companies, they move to the cloud, but basically they're just outsourcing the server part. So they have a contract with AWS, but basically you're still hosting in their environment. But now it's not their data center, but it's AWS.
It creates a lot of other technical challenges for that they don't usually think about. Which is funny because they'll throw up lots of objections to using the cloud with Jira, but using some other tool that's in the cloud being offered that way, they don't seem to think about it. So it's interesting when you try to merge those pieces together.
But do you, for example, you're also a partner of QA Symphony, and I understand that QA Symphony has this isolated other server as well. How does that work?
We find most of those test management and quality management tools are their own platform. So it operates just like the rest of them. No one really questions it. It's when you see
Sapphire
things like,
has that fully integrated in Jira
as an option, but it's really just manual. If you want the full functionality, you have to go to the different platform.
It's kind of a Trojan horse. So you start on Jira and then you move.
You get to do your manual test case management, and then you move over into the fuller platform.
So our business isn't that deep into test management. So what you say is there is not a lot of choice. Like, if you want a mature solution, you'll end up on a different server either way. Okay, I understand that.
And so that's the question of how do you manage that? Is that if we did AWS, we can be fairly creative with them being on separate instances, but still integrated and manage the security pieces of it. But if you have, being managed in all these different places, it's just hard for most IT teams to handle security, handle passing data, especially if they have compliance challenges. Around finance or medical data, there's lots of challenges with that.
Don't tell us names, but could you tell us 2 stories when you lost a safe deal, when you have been like a little bit down because you said, oh, I wanted to win that, but you lost it, and who was that to and why?
I'm not sure I'm going to name any names, but I'll give you the general gist. For a lot of our customers, because we sell so many different solutions, not just on the tooling side, we'll have a coaching side and they may not know we do tooling. And for some of those, if we're not brought in, we may be able to do exactly what they need, but they don't know we offer that service.
Yeah, okay.
So some of that is us cross-selling and making sure that people are aware of what services we offer. The other one is, if we go head-to-head against a Rally or a version 1 or AgileCraft, we have a hard time mapping. There's no way to have a feature.
So it's a very different solution.
Correct.
Kind of.
When they have a prepackaged solution, they sell you that. When we talk about a safe solution in Jira, it's so flexible. It's hard to match exactly one for one, and we don't know what target we're shooting for each of the clients.
So when you lose, it's often that you're either too late in the game or they didn't know, and then
Correct.
At one point they
if we have a chance to do a demo and talk with them, we can show them that we're flexible enough and can meet all of their needs and use the tools they already have. If we're coming late to the table and they've already seen a different product, it's hard to be able to map those two.
I'm also asking this question because my experience in Germany is that there, and it may sound arrogant or ignorant, but there's no other relevant solution for the customers often. We have, we're still very early. Like cPrime is the first other Atlassian partner that we're working with, and until Zubin was here, was looking at that and saying, "Oh, we need to do this together, and we can do a lot in America, which you can't do," which is obviously true. We're only in Germany physically, so we said, "Okay, we're going to make this safe solution be a attractor for our service business." So we're making this exclusive. Everyone has to go through Seibert Media for services, and then. In Germany, we had probably 20 cases already where competitors, other partners came to us, and exactly that case arose, which is kind of difficult because the partner obviously wants to keep working with the customer. He just wants the solution for the customer. So, and We've been bitching around a little bit about Atlassian ecosystem yesterday, but I do know from first-hand experience that actually other Atlassian partners and the Atlassian ecosystem at large is kind of friendly, nice, open, and so we're trying in all these 20 cases. We're trying to find a solution with them, and that's why I was asking for like other solutions. When they now come to Jira, those other solutions, does that attract more customers, or is it just like they see, we always lose out against cPrime, so we have to react to that, and it's still like a futile endeavor?
We've been able to do so much marketing with Atlassian, as well as lots of webinars and white papers. We've had a chance to establish our name doing the safe solution. So a lot of folks, if you look up Safe and Jira, you're going to find something related to cPrime in the States. So that advantage has definitely helped us because we've been doing it, I think, longer than pretty much anyone else in the States in that market. But we do find that it helps us discuss other parts of their business. So when I left the coaching side of the world and went to tooling, I have much better process conversations, and I can more accurately coach them on how they're doing product management and where they can integrate into their DevOps tools, because we're talking about the tool. If I were to come in as a coach, it's harder sometimes to have those conversations around, well, you may want to consider this optimization. And they go, that's not what I brought you in for. But when we talk about Jira, we can talk about how do you want to integrate these tools? Well, the assumption is, of course, you want to, and they do, but they haven't thought through that. They came in just for this thing. And it's a lot of services and process that needs to be improved around that. From governance to general product definition to how the teams plan and work with finance. I mean, it's much broader than just Agile and just Safe.
Okay, let's assume, I know it's pretty late in the video to assume that, but if I'm early in this process,
Yep.
and I haven't been in contact. I know someone in our company is using Jira,
Sure.
and I don't know too much about Safe and all this stuff. So how would I go about that now? What's the first step? What should I do to find out whether this is something for my company?
So most folks, and this is where we get involved with them, they think they know something about Safe and something about Agile, and they probably do. They know something about Jira as well. They don't know how they all mix. And so a lot of them end up going to an AUG, or they'll come to watch a webinar to understand the pieces, but they don't quite understand it because we still haven't translated their need into what the solution will look like. And so a lot of that is where our teams really spend a lot of time in understanding what specifically are you trying to solve? Where are you currently? Where are you trying to go? What tools do you have? How do they need to work together? And that's so we can figure out what they do. We have some overviews on Safe, some overviews on Jira to help them understand the pieces so they know what questions to ask. That's one of the most common challenges we see is our customers don't know what they don't know. They don't know what to ask. So it's hard to show them a full Safe solution that implies they know Jira, they know Safe, they know Agile, when none of that may be true.
Yeah, I expected a much simpler answer. Call cPrime now
Call cPrime,
and get a demo. So basically, that's a remote demo, right? It's totally non-binding and also flexible, easy. So all I would need is some time of you guys have some time at the same time and a web connection, and then you would share your screen. I could ask away and ask all my questions.
But it's usually a short overview to show them what this
How long
looks
does it take? Like 30
usually
minutes?
a demo's about an hour, but that includes a lot
Mm-hmm.
of questions and understanding where they're at and showing them the pieces that are most important. It depends on where we're at in the organization.
Yeah. And what we see a lot is that, as you said, like the situation that you're most likely in as a customer is different. Like also for us, it's often that the challenges that you've identified that will create the most value change from customer to customer. At the same time, like in a lot of cases, they already have these. How do you say that? Like if you have a good example, a team, a high-performing team, a Scrum or Kanban team that everyone in your organization looks at and says, how about we all work like they work? And that's often something that they can refer to or that they have been set up as a task. So let's find out how we can do that. Then most people already have Jira somewhere in the company, right? It's very uncommon for us, at least, that they say we want Safe. We have no idea about the Atlassian stuff. So that's definitely something that, for Linchpin, like the intranet solution, we see that sometimes that they have a old stale SharePoint Microsoft solution, which is expensive and inflexible, and then they move to the whole Atlassian stack. But for Safe, actually, people do use Jira already. And what else? What other artifacts could you name that I, as a viewer of this video, could identify as a hint for me that this is a good solution?
A lot of it, and we have a number of webinars you can go to on our website that are already recorded, just 30 minutes, to look at some of the concepts, both in Safe as well as in a Jira Safe solution, to understand the key elements of it. It's very simple, done by level, so that people can go and see that. Level
means like my role and where I'm in the hierarchy. And
level of the organization related to Safe. Are you at the portfolio level with planning, program level, looking at the features that have to be built, or at the team level and how we work within this? And we can look at it from any of those levels depending on who's the customer and what they're looking to buy for their particular perspective. So it really helps them understand, if we're doing planning, this is what it would look like and here's what the tool can do. Otherwise, to that previous point, they don't know what they're looking for.
Do you see customers buying such solution like as a preemptive medicine? So, we're going to have that problem. We don't have it right now, but we want to be prepared. So let's have that in place.
Yeah, we often see that a lot of our customers know the direction they want to go in, even if they don't know all the details. And we'll start off with the proof of concept. Mm-hmm. Let's get 3 teams into the tool using it, and it's usually the high-performing teams that are already along that path. We get them in so that they can see what reports they get. They can see how it would work and be facilitated, see their visibility across the different projects. And that really helps them feel comfortable with it before they invest it for the other 100 teams or however many they have.
We've been talking about the majority of different markets.
Yep.
For a German customer who's viewing that, it would be interesting to find out what you've learned from the iterations that you've seen with American customers. Yeah. So what is the things that we old laggards can learn from the veteran?
One of the larger mistakes we see is trying to solve everything for your organization all at once in one proof of concept. Mm-hmm. You'll spend 6 months designing it and then 3 days putting it in place. Probably not the best approach you want to take.
Yeah.
So let's try to quickly gather the requirements you need to get it in so they can touch it. That's the hardest part, is they don't know Jira, they don't know SAFe. So the sooner you can get them into the tool to experience it, see their requirements inside of it, then you'll get much better feedback on how it needs to change, how it needs to work. So generally speaking, the sooner you can get it up and running, the better.
Yeah, okay. That sounds like the pragmatic cPrime approach that I experience all the time. Very refreshing. Last question. SAFe, that is waterfall for the top management who doesn't want to buy into this agile shit because they still want to be mighty and centrally steering the whole company.
I wouldn't phrase it that way, but that's one of the biggest discussions around SAFe in the Agile world. Is SAFe really just waterfall for management and then Agile for the teams, and where do we translate that in the middle? And in reality, yes, there is some waterfall planning that has to be done. This goes back to core Agile concepts for how you apply it. If senior management intends to be waterfall and SAFe, they can still be very waterfall. If they embody more of the Agile methodology and thinking, then they can be much more iterative with how they approach it and not push some of those bad habits downstream in something like SAFe. So,
and I assume your answer will be, we don't care.
We try to push them always into the better Agile answer, which is don't do the waterfall approach here. You're going to have problems with it. But that's where we see if we can get them halfway to that goal, that's a step in the right direction, right?
That's where I personally always need this confidence that we're doing good to team collaboration and to the greater purpose of Steve Jobs putting a dent in the universe. And at first I was pretty suspicious about all these SAFe things that we did. We started that by tremendous demand from our customers. And I was suspicious of, are we doing the right thing?
Yeah.
And my answer to that would be, we're helping customers who have a hard time to switch how they operate, going in the right direction without losing ground totally. And it has been proven they don't do it. Right? They don't just switch from right to left on their head or the other way around.
If we get rid of the methodology and the tools, what we're really doing is changing how they work, changing their culture. And that's the big thing we're doing here, is making it easy for them to take that step with the process.
You could say you're switching from distrusting employees to trusting employees.
To thinking
where you had the Walmart camera watching whether the cashier would take money from the cash. You now say, do your thing, master complexity, and we don't care. And that's actually for a company of the size of Walmart or
it's hard.
Other companies.
It's a big ask.
It's difficult, and there's also, and that has to be admitted. Two people like you and me, the risk that we take in that isn't as high as their risk.
No.
They say, Brandon, what are you going to do if they all take the money from the cashier and say, oh, that's unfortunate. The likeliness is low, and they say, I don't care.
That's not good enough, right? So that's where those proof of concepts and those things to show them what it could be. no amount of me telling them is going to make them feel better. They have to see it. They have to have their teams buy in.
I know I said it was the last question, but there's one other. What's the one pitfall that you would want people not to make? You said about don't try to make the POC do everything at one time.
Yep.
Is there anything else?
It's more expectation setting with customers. Setting their expectation on what this is going to take and what they're going to experience is often not part of this discussion. Because we are changing their culture. We are changing how they work every day. We're changing their visibility. Often for the better, but it's different than what they've had. We find for a lot of the larger engagements, they had no idea it would take 6 to 9 months. They thought it would take 2 months. They thought they needed 1 or 2 people. They need 50. Right? It's just a big, big expectation shift.
How many organizations make it? Like you introduce that, and how high is the success rate?
Very high. The difference is how fast they move and how fast they can get it through the organization.
Oh, okay.
Some of them want us to do all of it. We have 2 clients right now that we're embedding people and they want us just to help drive all of it. Other ones want us to get them set up for their POC, transfer the information so they can do it themselves. Right? And that's the difference is, do they want to move really fast or they just want to get a feel for it?
Do they have resources?
Do they have resources to support it and internal ownership and understanding? So there's so many variables there. But regardless, they need to set that expectation. If it's internal, don't tell them we're going to be done next month. It may be 6 to 9 to 12 months.
I've learned like 100 times from employees and also customers, don't make these long videos. At the same time, people tell me if it's interesting, it cannot be. I'll watch it. So I had the impression that this was very interesting. It could go on up.
Good. I hope so.
Jan gave me bad looks. You're obviously here to work.
He wants me back. We have work to do. That's right.
And not to record videos for us. Thanks for tuning in. If you have a question, put it down below or contact Brandon at
cprime.com,
which is his email address. And they are also on social media. You'll find cPrime everywhere. Brandon is a head guy there, so it may be that you're not always lucky to be able to talk to him here. So I'm very lucky that you have taken all the burden of jet lag and traveling to come here.
The Seibert team has been very welcoming, helped with some of the arrangements, and has been wonderful to work with. So if you get the opportunity, by all means, come visit. They have their own flat ready for you to hang out at, and wonderful facilities to spend time with the teams.
Yeah, that's the marketing for other Atlassian partners.
Right, yeah,
thank you very much for that. And thanks for being here.
Great, Brandon. No problem. Thank you.